Hello, I do enjoy the Firefly verse. So today I'm going to look at Firefly Adventures, Brigands and Browncoats, a cooperative game of thrill and heroics and shameless misbehaving. It's from Gale Force 9 from 2017. It's a bookshelf kind of game. Nice big box. Art is okay, nothing extraordinary. Does the job. Game summary on the back. Pull off a big score with the crew of Serenity. It's a cooperative game for 1 to 5 players, working together to thwart local goons and get the job done. Will use your wits to maneuver your way to success, or will your trusty sidearm open the doors standing in your way. It's got miniatures. Connect casual heroic. The main characters, of course, Mal, Jane, Wash, Kaylee, and Zoe. It's got these neat, you can set up the board with these boxes, which I'll show in a configurable game board. Equip your crew with a variety of guns, gadgets, and gear. Create a variety of scenarios with pre-built three-dimensional buildings and double-sided map tiles. It's got 20 plastic figures. 5 of our heroes in casual and 5 in heroic positions, and then 10 total of goons and cowboys that are bad guys. 6 map tiles, equipment cards, challenge cards, briefings, down cards, assembled buildings, crew character cards, goon character cards, game money, tokens and timeline, dice and game rolls. The credits: game design, Sean Swigert; Aaron Dill; graphic design, Katie Dillon; approvals coordinator; additional writing, design director, John Kowalski; producers, 3D design, acknowledgements, and playtesters. The rules, 18 pages, good descriptions of components, good images of everything. Talks about the various steps you need to do, good examples. Plenty of good examples. Playing a story, games with 1 to 4 players, playing as goons. A neat, useful, and I think clever part of this game design is you have to, store components anyway, but they have these boxes you can put components in, of course, but also these are actually rooms that'll be in the different missions, and there's 10 of these. Some are, 3 by 3 squares. There's 4 of those. Then you have some that are 2 by 4. You see they look like different kind of cargo containers. 4 or 5 of those. Then you have a bigger one. I guess it's 4 by 6. Again, a nice area there. And then the box itself is also a playable area as well, with a square grid on it. So that's very clever how they do that. I appreciate that. And these big tiles for like configurable areas for the different scenarios, they're 2-sided. So I can see the different containers can fit on them. It's got the same, square grid to it. Looks to be, each square is like inch by inch, looks like. And there's 6 of these, and they're 2-sided for different kind of terrain. Like a port of some sort. It's all well done. Here's our heroes. Each has a heroic pose and a casual pose. So Mal, Jane, Even has a Jane hat there. Zoe, Wash, and Kaylee. Also has some miniatures for the bad guys. Got 5 goons here and 5 cowboys. They're all unique, which is nice. It's got 6 dice, 3 whitish and 3 brown. They're each 6-sided. It's numbered on 4 of the sides, but in place of the 6, there's a firefly on each. And if you roll a firefly, you may roll an additional bonus die and add it to your results. And then also in each die on the other side, there's on the opposite side of the dice from the firefly, in place of the 1, there's a disgruntled side. And if you roll more disgruntled faces than heroic dice, things have gone awry and you fail the test. These are the crew cards for the 5 crew. Each one has a heroic side and a casual side. And this is a big core part of the game here. These items here, represent each action occurs over a number of moments, and this is the amount of time an action takes. It's pictured here with this number by the clock. These indicate skills. He's got 2 fight skills shown, so he would have 3. Well, he's got 1 negotiate skill. This indicates tech skill. And the cards are thick and durable. Indicator down here is, it's on their action side. It shows the number of wounds that they can receive before being downed. The plus number is the action boost. These action boosts improve another action being taken at the cost of taking more time. Boosts do not count as a separate action, may only be used once per action. These are different actions. Brawl, indicated here. Both combatants roll a die and add the fight skill in the character card. Whichever one is greater causes a wound to the other. And these are movement actions. You move a number of squares shown on the card, or you can use one of these to move a heavy object. This symbol indicates healing that's performed. And then there's brawling and negotiating skill tests, which can involve bribery sometimes. Goons are either thugs or cowboys, and for the thugs, these are their cards. On one side it shows the actions here, and then on the other side it shows the special items for each type of thug. For instance, for a bruiser, when a bruiser wounds, hero must spend a moment. And similarly for cowboys, on the one side of all the cowboy cards you have the actions they can do. The other side is the special kind of attributes of the different types of cowboys. For instance, duelist only spends 2 moments to shoot and can handle 2 wounds. These are the turn order trackers that track the timeline. Its timeline is divided into moments. Whichever character, here I've shown Wash and Zoe. Whichever character, crew or goon is behind a timeline, it's their next turn. So for instance, Zoe would go next here. Once the character's turn, they may take 2 actions. They may take the same action twice. Goons will always take 2 actions. Players may choose to only take 1, but goons always take 2 actions. Once their turn is over, the character at the back of the timeline takes their turn. And these go around the edge of the board when you set it up. And it's timeline markers for each of the crew and also for the bad guys. There's, of course, Mal, Kaylee, Wash, Zoe, Jane for the crew. And then these are different kinds of thugs. There's bodyguards, bruisers, punks, butchers, martial artists. These are different kinds of cowboys. Roper, grizzled gunman, tracker, sharpshooter, duelist. Then there's also patrols and an alarm time marker. When a crew gets as many wound markers as they can handle on their card, they're downed, and these are wound markers. And when they're down, they take this card, and these are the only actions they can perform. When a thug or cowboy is downed, you replace the figure with a downed marker on the board. Comes with some excellent money from 100 to 500 to 1,000. It's 4 different kinds of jobs you can do, and these are basically the different scenarios for the game. So each time you play, you choose one of these. There's the rescue, questionable objectives, goose juggling, special delivery. Shows setup, layout of the cards. For example, on the rescue, there's the layout. The rescue after the war, those who used to wear brown found it hard to get proper work. Some folks who had fought on the losing side turned to work that's somewhat less than legit. One of your war buddies has been taken hostage, owing to some previously received slight against the local boss's delicate perception of themselves. Goes without saying, the rest of us aren't inclined to let him twist. Goal and the special rules, event chart, and special aspects of it. In the playthrough, I'll go through one of these in detail. And getting paid, measures of success. And then for questionable objectives. So an associate of mine is something what belongs to me. He just ain't got his head around the fact just yet. Once we retrieve what's mine, we can inform him of the rights of the situation. Goose juggling? No doubt referring to Wash's experience. Word has it that one of the local gangs has established an unrestricted Cortex terminal into the local magistrate's record system. They've enjoyed shortening their mate sentences by a few months, snooping on their rivals, and skimming a few credits out of neglected accounts. But the local gang is ultimately planet-bound and can't risk the losing their golden goose. They've been stingy with sharing. They don't want any off-worlders mucking about in their pond. If you can get your hands on it, even for a little while, you'll be sitting pretty. Then special delivery. Your employer has given you a hot item that needs to be placed in the right someone's hands. However, that someone's description was sorely lacking. Folks around these parts are titchy about outsiders, poke their outsider noses into business that ain't none of theirs. Head to the market and start making nice with locals until you get a bead on the fellow you're seeking. Try not to ruffle too many feathers, and everyone can walk away smiling. There's tech challenge cards and negotiation challenge cards. When a job calls in a hero to undertake a technology-driven challenge, draw a tech challenge card to see what exactly needs to be done. So here's a couple things think about doing, then failure and success. Then for negotiation challenge cards, if the hero needs to talk their way out of a situation, they'll draw a negotiation challenge card. So for instance, here are a couple options: failure and success. Equipment cards, guns, explosives, and other tools the crew needs to accomplish their missions. If you're doing a series of missions, the crew can keep their equipment from one to the other. Cost, and then attributes bottom. This is the mule. Gets you tuned from one misdeed to another, and often be starting at any point of a job. Doesn't block line of sight. These are intel tokens. Intel tokens may be used in different ways depending on the job. Cargo crate tokens. On the back side it says what's in the cargo. May find credits for equipment. Show on the back. goon starting locations for cowboys and thugs. Number tokens 1 through 10. Maybe use track locations, difficulty, or other job events. These are lock tokens. Unless there's a lock on them, the doors are open, but if they're locked, the items on the back show what action has to be performed to unlock them, and then open is indicated here. Different patrol markers. Markers are placed on a map to define a goon patrol route, and then objective markers. These are challenge tokens. You mark where on the map the challenge takes place. Terminals. Cortex is a network that connects the far-flung planet's moon to the verse. So that's if you need to access that. Reward marker. With the reward marker on top of the pile of credits, you learn if the job's success. And these are different loot descriptions for the different locations. Then we'll get into setup and play. So in the setup here, the job scenario I'm going to do is special delivery. And here's showing the setup. Place 5 thugs and 5 cowboys in their starting spots on the map here. Place an objective token under all the goons on the map. Place a terminal token next to buildings 8 and 9 is marked on the map. And I configured the boards and boxes as shown in the diagram here. And the boxes work really well on the grid. Although I did notice some of these are, the images they show in here are actually the mirror image of what they are. Like for instance, like this box is, mirror image of what it's shown there, but it doesn't affect play, it's just a minor thing. But it all works out really well. So here's the goons, both the thugs and cowboys in the different locations. Put a objective marker under each of them, like this one for instance, but they all have an objective marker under them. Put a terminal token here and here in boxes 8 and 9. And then I randomly drew a cargo token, and Wash currently has it, and I have all the characters in their casual position on the mule here. Put cargo crate tokens, 1 each in 8 and 9. Again, I just randomly drew those. Put lock tokens next to all 4 doors of these buildings. So lock token here, here, there, and there on the boxes, on the crates 8 and 9. Investigating and opening these doors counts as a heroic action. Then during setup you may discard an intel token to remove the objective token from a goon. But I won't do that, I won't discard an intel token, I'll just keep it like it is. Then I have the moment tracker set up here around the board. And I'm using all 5 crews, so the duration of this scenario is 40 moments. It's plus 10 if you have fewer than 4 crew. Goal: to get paid, you'll need to figure out which person is your contact, get them the package, and make sure you haven't drawn any undue attention. The job ends once the package has been delivered, and all the crew are either acting casual or have made it back to the mule. If the crew holding the package is down at any point, the job's a bust. Special rules. Local directions. While standing next to a waiting goon, you may attempt a negotiation challenge and discard that goon's objective token. If successful, they've pointed you in the right direction. Also discard the objective token from the next nearest goon. Happy help. The central buildings with terminals are a pair of water purifiers that have been acting up. Crew may attempt a tech challenge while standing next to their terminal. If successful, take 500 and remove the objective token from a goon of your choice. You may only succeed once per building. Worry folks, discard the objective token of any goon who is alerted or downed. Last place you look, the last goon with an objective token under their base is your contact. Once only one goon is left with an objective token, that goon may not lose the token or be alerted. Delivering the goods. The package may be exchanged between crew-like equipment. The crew holding the package may attempt to make the delivery by attempting a negotiation challenge when next to the goon who is your contact. At this point, remove the goon's objective token. Price of failure. If you fail a speech challenge, the contact thinks you're trying to hoodwink them and immediately becomes alerted, along with any other goons in sight. At this point, the crew holding the package must act heroic for the remainder of the game. The package may still be passed to other crew members. See the rules for failure in the getting paid section. Event chart. The first time a crew member passes each star in the timeline roll die. Hidey hole. Place a new goon out of sight as close as possible. If you roll the symbol, it's hidey hole. Place a new goon out of sight as close as possible to the crew at the back of the timeline. 2-3 distraction. Move 2 goons up to 4 squares. 4 to 5 stop and search. Move all 4 goons up to 3 squares toward the nearest crew. Then all crew next to a goon must immediately act heroic. And if you roll a Firefly, lucky break, move an available crew backwards 5 moments on the timeline. Getting paid. If you successfully deliver the package, take $3,000. Take an additional 100 for each moment remaining in the timeline when the mission ends. Reduce the reward by 200 for each buy token on the map. Failure. If you fail a negotiation challenge when attempting to deliver the package, maybe you can hawk the contents of the better delivery to a local fence. You'll just have to deal with the sender's error later. The job still ends when all the crew are either on the mule or acting casual. The crew holding the package must act heroic, so must head back to the mule. When the job ends, roll die. 1 to 2 personal files. Take 3 intel tokens. You may save these for a future job or sell them immediately for $500 each. 3-4 industrial prototypes. Take the top 2 cards from the equipment deck. You may either keep these or take their value in credits. 5 to 6 alliance rations. Take 3,000 credits. Measures of success. 1,100, 2,500. At least you won't go hungry. 2,600, 4,400. Nothing to be ashamed of. 4,500 and up. Big score. For an individual mission, you start out with 3,000. Then you can buy equipment or save some of the money. So I'll take the 3,000 and equip the crew. Each crew can have a max of 4 items of equipment. And so for Mal, I'll give him a knife, which is for brawling, and a cavalry revolver for shooting, for a total of 800 there. For Jane, of course, I have to get the Jane cunning hat, where you can do some re-rolling, and then a cattleman's carbine, so 600, 200 there. For Wash, I'll have him carry the medical kit for 200 and a revolver. I want them each to at least have a weapon, so 400 more there. For Kaylee, I'll give her a improvised hacking rig for 200 and a revolver. And then for Zoe, I'll give her a holdout pistol for 300. So the total is, of all that, is 2,700. And I'll keep back 300 of that in case I have to do some bribing. Place all the timer markers up here. They'll start at the first spot. I set Captain Malcolm Reynolds on the top here, so he'll go first. Start the turn here. And I'm going to have Wash carrying the cargo that they'll be bringing to their contact. And instead of putting that under his marker, I'll just put it on his card here, just for simplicity. Mel's on top, so he goes first. He gets 2 actions. For his first one, he can move three spots for a movement, for a moment of 2, for 2 moments. So move up 2 moments, and then move 3 spots. I think what the concept is, I'll have Mal and Zoe going over here and maybe shooting things up a little bit, and then I'll have Jane escorting Wash and Kaylee over here to check out the terminal. So that's his first movement. So that's his first action. His second action, he'll move again, move 3, so he'll be going right over here. It's just 2 actions, and nobody's heroic yet, so that doesn't activate any goons that are in line of sight. So then we go with Zoe. She'll also do a movement for one of her actions, and she can move 3 as well. And then her second movement, then her second action, she'll also do a movement. Then move the moment marker. Then Wash. He's moving also. For 2 moments he can move 3 spots. And then he'll also move for his second action. With the marker. And again, nobody's heroic yet, so nobody's activated by seeing them. Kaylee. Movement for her as well. And then also the second action of moment, she'll go over towards the terminal. 2 moments for the first one, 2 moments for the second. Jane goes slower. He needs 3 moments to move 3 spots. So it takes 3 moments to go 3 spots. And then he'll do another movement. And then he moves 3 moments. And Kaylee's the one back there, so she goes. She's gonna go over to this terminal. So 1 action will be movement. Go to this terminal. And that takes 2 moments. And then for Kaylee's second action, in this job, you can attempt a tech challenge while standing next to a terminal. If successful, take 500, you remove the objective token from a goon of your choice, and you may only succeed once per building. Kaylee's good at tech, so she'll do a tech challenge, and it's draw 1 from the pile, and the challenge is chemical detectors. You can either clog the filters with 2 moments. It's a sabotage, so you need to get an 8 or better. Or you can do this casual, but if you do heroic, it takes 1 moment and you only need a 6 or better. She doesn't want to go heroic yet, because if she goes heroic, some of the goons might see her through the doors. So she wants to stay casual, and she'll do the clog the filters. And to figure out what she can do, she's got a skill of 3, and she has the option of using her improvised hacking rig. Once she uses it, though, she can't use it for the rest of the game. unless it's refreshed, because it'll be exhausted, but it'll add a die roll to that, or add the amount on a die to that. And also, Wash is there to provide an assist, and that's one of his abilities. If he spends 2 moments, he can assist if available, and he's got 1 tech level, so he'll do that. Wash would move ahead 2 because he's assisting, and she's also going to do her reroll option, which if she spends 2 moment points, she can do that, and she'll do that. So she'll go up here, and then she's got a total, since Wash is assisting, she gets his 1 tech. So her 3 plus 1, so 4, and then roll a die to see how many the hacking rig gives. Gives 4, so she's already at 8, so it looks good. But she still needs to roll, and if she gets a disgruntled, she'll still lose. So she'll roll, and she's good. She's got 10. She succeeds. According to this, the nearest goon takes a wound, and that would be this goon. And in the special rules for this scenario, she gets $500. And I'm going to take an objective token from a goon of your choice. So those are all good things. She'll take it from this goon over here. Because part of this mission, big part is getting the objectives off the goons. Because when you have only 1 remaining with an objective, that's your contact. That was successful. And in the rules for this scenario, it says you may only succeed once per building, so I'm just going to take that terminal off there because they can only succeed at that once. And then she exhausted the hacking rig, so she takes it out, flips it over. And she could have also done add 2 moments to reroll, but she didn't do that option, and she succeeded. So now next in line, Zoe. So her and Mel are going to shoot things up here. She's going to do a movement. Moves up 2. And she's in line of sight. If the door isn't locked, it's open and you have line of sight there. She sees that cowboy there, but she's casual. And she does have a holdout pistol, which she could shoot. And some of the guns require you to be in heroic mode. Like for instance, Mel's revolver, you have to be in heroic mode, but hers doesn't have that symbol, so she can do that in casual mode. But it takes 2 moments. And that's what she'll do. She'll shoot at the cowboy in there. He's 1, 2 away, but he's also it's a little bit risky because he gets a +3 because he's sheltered behind there. But still, she's pretty close. In casual, she's got a 2 fighting strength. If she were in heroic, she'd have a 3. So she gets 2 plus whatever the die roll is, and that needs to be greater than 2 plus the 3 or 5. So it's a close call what'll happen here. She'll move off her 2 moments to take that shot. Roll the dice. 2. 2 plus 2. She misses. Just It's unfortunate. But she's not heroic yet, so I guess maybe didn't notice that happen. And then she did her 2 actions, and then Mel goes next. He'll move up as well. He's actually going to go through the back door here, that way he won't have to go through him, so he'll move. And then he'll just move next to the door. So those are his 2, he did 2 movements, so he goes 2, 2. And he's back here now. He's got a line of sight, but he's still casual. I think they only get activated if they see heroics, or if they see a body. Then Jane, he's a fighter, so he's gonna. There's not much going on here. He's gonna go over here and support Zoe. You can only move 2 though. Per movement. So that's one of his. It's one of his. And then I'll move 2 more to be in line of sight there. He landed on the star, and the first time a player lands on the star, it varies by the scenario. But for this scenario, on the event chart, if you roll disgruntled, place new gun out of sight, and then the other options. We'll see what happens. 2. 2 distraction. You move 2 goons up to 4 squares. Seems to be the player's choice. I'll move this one away so he kind of gets out of line of sight. 1, 2, 3. Let's move him right there so he's kind of out of line of sight. Mal's turn. So he's back here. There's a cowboy right in here. Apologize for the angles. But he's first going to go in here, and I'll do a movement. Right there. Takes 2 moments. And then he's going to... Nobody else has line of sight to him. He's just there with the cowboy. And these doors are open, but it doesn't look like that guy has a line of sight or anybody else. So he's just him and the cowboy. He's going to take a shot. And he's got a cavalry revolver, but he needs to be in heroic mode to do that. So he'll switch over to heroic mode. And he flips his card over. You know, these are the actions he can do. And also by going in there too, now the cowboy doesn't have cover. He's 2 away from the cowboy. And it takes 2 moments to shoot, so I'll move up him 2 moments. He's got fighting skill of 2. Then you roll a die for a shoot. Looks like he's going to be okay, but he's still, if he gets a disgruntled, he'll still fail. 5, he's good. So he got a wound on that cowboy. I'll just indicate putting his wound marker there. You need to switch over here this character to a heroic marker now. And after he shoots, he can still move 2. And he'll do that. He'll To go out a door, you can't go diagonal through the door, you have to go here and here. Unfortunately though, he was hoping he could like hide from the cowboy, but he won't be able to get out of his line of sight because he can still see through that door. But he's got cover because he's on the other side of the door now, so he'll get a +3 on his response. Since the cowboy has been alerted now, you get the objective marker there as well, so now he won't be their point of contact. And we'll see different cowboys have different abilities. We'll see which cowboys they got. And it's the grizzled gunman. His special ability is you re-roll missed shooting tests, but he's only got 1 health. Actually, since he only has 1 health, and he Mel shot him, he's down, so he won't get a shot. It's fortunate that he got a gunman that was that low in health. Take him off the board, and we'll put a body right there where he was. Put the body right inside the door here where the grizzled gunman was. So it's fortunate for Mal. See if anybody else has line of sight to him. Doesn't look like it. He's behind there. Nobody can see him, so that's good. And then it's Zoe's turn. She's going to close in a little bit here. Do a movement. Move up her moment marker. And she's checking out here and line of sight. It doesn't look like anybody will be able to see her either besides him. So she's got a better chance of succeeding if she goes to heroic mode. So she'll do that. She'll shift to heroic mode. And because of that, now she's got 3 fight. And she'll shoot with her holdout pistol, which takes 2 moments to do that. Move her up on the track. He's got cover, so he's got a +3 out there. It'll be 1, 2, 3 + 3, 6. So she needs a 6 or better. Her skill is 3, and then she rolls the die and see if she can get 6 or better. Firefly. By rolling a Firefly, you get to roll the die 1 more and then add that to 6. But she's already good. So she's got a total of 9. Plus her abilities. She's got 9 plus 3, 12, which is greater than the 6 she needed. So he takes a wound. So I'll put a wound marker out here to indicate that cowboy got shot. Then we see which cowboy it is. It's the sharpshooter. And now she gets the objective marker from him. So now they've cleaned out 3 objective markers, and it doesn't look like this guy's going to be her associate. He's got a health of 2, so he's still up. When a goon becomes activated, in this case a cowboy, you put his moment marker on the furthest marker back, which means that he goes next, and he has to do 2 actions. For a cowboy, generally, if you're more than 6 from a target, he will move towards it by 3 at a cost of 2 moment times. But he's within 6, so he'll stay where he is. And for the sharpshooter specifically, when he's within 12 of the nearest visible heroic crew, which she's visible because he can see her through the door, it takes 3 moments to shoot, but he gets to roll 2 dice. And Zoe would have cover from the door if she was within the doorway, which would be in the square next to the door, but she's further out, so she doesn't have cover. Sharpshooter gets to roll 2 dice. And she's 3 away, so needs 3 or better. 2. Hit. So Zoe takes a hit, and she's got a wound. She can take up to 5 wounds. He's got 1, but he gets another shot now too. He's got his second action. Same thing. Firefly, so gets to roll again. So like 17 damage, but that's still 1 wound. She's got 2 wounds now. And once you take a wound, she has to stay heroic till she heals. So that wasn't good. And we'll see if anyone else is activated. So if anybody else sees here or sees this body in the door, they'll be activated. Because there's a body behind there. He doesn't have it. That's close, but not quite. Nope, nobody else got line of sight. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of sense how to play it. So that's Firefly Adventures, Brigands and Browncoats from Gale Force 9 in 2017-2018. 1 to 5 players, ages 14 plus. I quite like it. I'm a browncoat, so I do enjoy anything to do with Firefly. I previously reviewed Firefly the board game, and this is also a good addition. There's also a couple of expansions you can get for this game. One is you get River and Simon with their characters and character cards, and the other one you can get with Shepard and Inara with their characters and character cards. Definitely looking to add those as well. I really like the components, how you can lay out the different configurations, tactics involved, different abilities of the characters. It is good that it has also miniatures for the bad guys as well. I guess it'd be good if also there were maybe Alliance in there as well, but that'd be an interesting expansion to also have, I guess. You could do I'm sure you could do your own kind of custom configurations as well if you'd like, once you get the hang of it. But the scenarios it has are very good and well tied into the theme, and actually tied in probably some specific episodes pretty well, I imagine. A lot of thought about how are you going to approach the different missions. Are you going to shoot it up? Are you going to be more tactful? Maybe do more negotiation instead of fighting or technical checks. It's got a lot of innovations to it as far as how they count, the moments in time for the player order. Like I can switch from casual to heroic and have different abilities there, and then different actions of the characters based on your being heroic. It's kind of neat. I like how they do that. So, by having, you got terminals and different types of cargo, and you can have different meanings of what the terminals are for, or maybe you have to capture intel chits, or there's so many different possibilities of what you could do. I really appreciate that. And you could do it, many missions where you could keep building up your characters as far as money and equipment and such. Really happy I got it. Definitely recommend it. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Thanks a lot.